Okay, Christina here to listen to some music. And today's music selection is Master of Puppets, live from the S&M concert with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra in 1999 by Metallica. So I am steadily adding to my collection of reactions to Metallica on the channel. I started out with Master of Puppets. It was the poll winner for Metallica songs. Then I've had some direct requests for One, and then the S&M version of One. And then I also did a reaction to the actual video for One because it was just really important. With the movie in there, it was a lot of people are like, you have to see the video, and I agree. So I went back and did that. And now we are going back and doing the S&M version of Master of Puppets. And how can we not? I so enjoyed the one for One with Michael Kamen. He's one of my favorite movie soundtrack composers, and he did a lot of work also writing orchestration for rock bands. So the fact that he's conducting this, and it's with the San Francisco Symphony, excellent group, obviously. This whole thing combined with Metallica is a complete joy, and I cannot wait to see what they did with Master of Puppets. Oh my goodness. This is gonna rock. But we're not just here to rock out. What else are we here for? I am a professional, classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we look at all different aspects of this music, how it's composed, some form and analysis, the instrumentation. Sometimes I include an instrument demo here and there. And also, how do we connect with this music? Why do we like it? Or maybe why do we not like it? All right, so I'm super excited about this one, so no more delaying. Let's listen. Okay, really excited about this one. So here we go. Goosebumps. Okay. All right. The energy on this stage is just wild, not to mention the audience. Oh my goodness. All right. I think what I'm picking up here already, more than I did to the S&M reaction to One, is the energy coming from the band. But I think I understand that because One is sort of a slower, kind of a ballad kind of song. So it's going to be a little bit more laid back, their demeanor. But oh my goodness. Like the drummer, Lars, he can like barely stay seated. He's like up, you know. You can just tell how much fun they're having. And the fact that this group, Metallica, this is 1999, it's a while ago, but even at that point, they've been doing this for a while. I think they started in 81, I think. It was early 80s. And, you know, Master of Puppets, they're a master at their craft here. So the fact that they are so thrilled and having this much fun is just, it's very entertaining. Plus, I know that feeling as a musician to be on stage for something that's really exciting like this. So there are just so many reasons why I'm excited about this. Seeing the orchestra, seeing the band, seeing them all have the good time, seeing the reaction of the audience, and then hearing what the added orchestra parts are into this and what can it possibly be. So I have to be honest that when I listened to the original of this, I was not picturing, how can I put some strings in there? Because usually I kind of do. Usually I think, ooh, how could this song by this band be turned into like a string quartet piece? Or how would I add an orchestral part to it? That sort of thing is always bouncing around in my mind. That's the arranger and the composer part of my brain. It's just kind of built in at this point in my career. But with this, I didn't picture it really with this, listening to the original Master of Puppets. And I've listened to it a lot since then. It is such a complex song. It's so complete, though, with the big solo and, okay. This is sort of like the dream that I never realized I wanted to dream, and yet here it is. Very exciting. Okay, so Hetfield has started to sing. Let's back up a little bit and hear where that picks up. Oh, I have to imagine. How is this all going to go down? So exciting. Okay, there's so much going on. Oh, I love how he's letting the audience sing some of it. I love that. And look at that audience. Man, this would have been a great concert to be at, especially if you were a really big Metallica fan. Wow. Okay, so I'm trying to catch some of the string parts, the orchestral parts. It's easier to hear the brass sometimes, and I saw a quick showing of, like, I saw some trumpets and they had the mutes in, so that's interesting. But the string parts, so I hear Michael Kamen's touch all over that, absolutely. But this is a difficult song to work those little string gestures in, because you have to do it just right. It can't be cheesy. It's got to fit in, but it has to add the orchestral flavor. You know, it can't be too much. Can't be too little. You want it to enhance it. You want it to add flavor without changing the dish. I think so far it's doing that. I heard a couple of little moments of interesting sounds. So I'm hearing some higher pitched instruments in the percussion that sort of make everything sparkle. In fact, that's the word that came to mind. There were a couple of moments where there was a sparkle, and right around that time I saw the harp. I keep doing this because I saw the harpist like, woo. There were some sound effects in there. And again, we have to also keep in mind, what is this song about? So it's sort of being held captive in an addiction. And I actually noticed at one point, Hetfield said one of the lines, he spoke it instead of singing it, and it was something like, that you always want more. Okay, so balance is good so far. Still having a good time. But again, how is this gonna play out? So many possibilities. So much fun. All right, here we go.
master of puppets, pulling the strings, yeah. Twisting your mind, smashing in trays. Blinded by me, you can't see a thing. Just come on in, 'cause I hear you scream. Master, just come on in, I hear you scream. Master, master.
So we got the little key change there. Okay. All right. Okay, first of all, great performance there of the duet from the guys in the band. Excellent. And still, what I'm picking up on here is that they're having so much fun. So much fun. Did you see Lars, right? Just like, he could just barely contain himself. Giant smile and just having so much fun. And you could tell that the duet, they were having fun playing the duet. Okay, and then I also spotted, and I'll have to go back when we finish, I'd like to go back a little bit and hit a few spots afterwards. I spotted one of the orchestra musicians who actually kind of gave a little nod to the soloist, because there was a little, like a cadenza, a little solo moment. And I know we've got another one coming up, but for the little duet moment here, you could just tell that that particular person on stage was having a good time. I'll go back and point that out, put it in the spotlight a little bit. But one little detail that I heard at the beginning of this section was a strange, almost percussive sound. And then I realized it was all of the strings playing colegno, and I'll demonstrate what that is at the end of this video. But basically it's when you turn the bow around and you play with the stick of the bow rather than the hair. And it gives kind of a percussive sound. And I was like, is that what I'm hearing? And sure enough. And again, it was almost sparkly because it's sort of a treble sound. Excellent use of the instrumentation there. Way to go, Mr. Kamen. All right. All right, we just had the key change. I'll back it up and hear that key change again. All right, there's still so much coming. Okay. Here we go. it's so good. I had to stop because I can't keep track of all the things that I want to say. I'll back it up again and hear the end of this. Again, they love how they had the audience sing it. Oh, it's so much fun. Little brass gestures. It is just undeniable how much they are all enjoying this. And of course, the guitar solo. I saw some of the violins playing part of it along with him. I'm wondering exactly how much did the violin section play along with the guitar solo. That'd be kind of a fun solo to try to work up on violin, wouldn't it? Okay, well, I'll add it to my list of possible solos that I might work up for the channel. We'll see. But for now, I was just sort of checking out like what the strings are still trying to do. So again, those little brass gestures, but then I saw lots of bows just like, bah, da, 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 you know, and, oh, they just get to rock out with the band and it's just so cool. Okay, I'm going to back this up a little bit more than I normally do because I want to catch this, like the last chunk of this. Okay, here we go.
Drifting on for days. Now your life, it's out of season. I will occupy it. I will help you die. I will run through you. Now I rule you Master of puppets, pulling a string, yeah. To see a man smashing and dreaming. Blinded by me, can't see a thing. Just come on in, I'll hear you scream. Master, just come on in, I'll hear you scream. Master, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Thank you, baby.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just keep saying this over and over again, but it was just so much fun, okay? But it just was. It just was. Okay, so what do I think of the balance? The orchestra with the band. Again, this was harder to strike a good balance. It was easy with one because it's more of a ballad. It sort of calls for the orchestral sound to be there. But with this, you have to be careful. No, I think the balance was pretty good. I do. I think my, not issue, but what I noticed is that I would hear the strings or the brass, you know, all, woodwinds too, you know, all of the instruments starting to have a little bit of a lyrical line, and it started to pull my attention from the aesthetic from the band to the symphony. Almost too much, but then right as it was going to be too much, then they stopped. And so I only heard like 2 or 3 moments of the brass. It was really featured really well. With the woodwinds, you mainly just heard like the flutes and the piccolo kind of, you know, up at the top. But then with the strings, same thing. They had just maybe 3 or 4 spots. There was one right there at the end where I kind of heard a short little motif that was repeated 2 or 3 times. And I was like, are they going to do it again? If they do it again, that might be too much of an establishment. And I didn't hear it again. And I was like, bravo, Mr. Kamen. Of course, that's why he's good at what he does, because he makes that kind of a decision. All right, so that was the lyric part of it. What about the sound effects? And what do I mean by sound effects? Orchestral instruments can be very versatile. There can be a lot of experimentation. That's one thing I like to do with my own composition work for orchestra, is to try to make them sound like there's something else, or blend the sections together so you can almost not tell what each section is doing. That they sort of hand things off seamlessly. To me, that's a fun challenge. So with this, Michael Kamen had to not make it sound like a symphony orchestra, but still have it be a symphony orchestra. So that was some of the sparkle that I heard. Not happy sparkle. Heavy metal sparkle. And so he achieved that with some of the higher tones, the flutes and the piccolo going up, and then making the violins double up. So one thing that happens a lot, because there are two sections of violins. So a symphony orchestra has first violins, second violins, violas, cellos, and basses. And so that's a lot of violins on stage. And the second violins usually play the lower part. The first violins usually play the higher part. And often they are playing in octaves. So they're playing the same line, but lower and then higher. But then they can even take that another step and have the first violins go up 8 VA, which just means up an octave. And that means they're way up there in the stratosphere, way at the end of the fingerboard. And so I heard a lot of that, and it sort of helped with that little sparkle sound effect along with the flutes and the piccolo. And then we heard a little bit of the harp. And then we heard some xylophone and glockenspiel action in the percussion, which also added to that sparkle. And then we had the colegno. So now I'll explain exactly what that is. So colegno literally translates to with the wood. So the stick of the bow rather than the hair. And so normally we play a string instrument with the hair facing down. But what we do with colegno, and you can sort of, there are different ways. You can sort of turn it this way. You can sort of turn it this way. It just depends on like where you're having to get to. But the idea is that you just have the stick of the bow hitting the strings. And you can actually put fingers down. You can have actual notes happen. It just doesn't come through. What comes through mostly is just that percussive sound. And yes, you do kind of want to be careful with the bow. You can sort of sometimes put dents or scratches in there. So if you have a piece you're working on with a lot of colegno, maybe use your spare bow. What's interesting is that I know Michael Kamen likes to tinker with that sort of thing. So in one of his movie scores that I happen to love, which is for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, if you know, you know, he did that a lot. So you actually hear sort of a sound like that. And then also what we call a Bartok pits, which is where you go vertically. When you pits, you pluck the string so much so that it hits, the string hits the fingerboard and it gives it a little metallic sound. So that is some of the sparkle that he added there. And I was catching on to some of that and it was really fun. Let's see if I can go back and find that spot. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to find that spot, but I did find another spot that basically provides that little sparkle moment, but not with the exact technique that I just demonstrated. Instead, you sort of hear the percussion in the upper notes there. Let's play it here. So they're playing along with the percussion. There. Yeah. Okay, so those little upper notes, and that's part of the sparkle there. But I'm not able to find the other spot, but maybe I'll find it later on, but that's okay. So that's the sparkle part. So now let's listen for some of the lyrical spots. And what was really neat is that the brass really led that. And there were some really cool chords that were sort of ominous sounding. And it mostly happened in the second half of the song. So let's go there, see if we can find a spot where the brass really kicks in. And you're like, they're really, really present. There, that line right there. And see, it stops. we want to actually, like, for the sake of the orchestra, and how beautiful that brass sound is, you want to keep it going, but it doesn't. It stops like only after 3 or 4 measures. That's the balance that I'm talking about. Okay, let's hear a moment with the strings. It was towards the end. And again, you only hear it like maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but then it stops. That's twice. Do they do it a third time? Nope, that's it. Oh yeah, a little interjection maybe. Oh, and then there's the brass. It was like half. I love his laughing. Okay, so they did like that little gesture, the full gesture, they did it twice, and then it was like half of one. And then the brass came in, and then his laughing came in. So it was like they were all kind of in that laughing gesture themselves. So again, that balance. One more time of the larger phrase, the longer phrase, and it would have been too much. All right, so where's some of the ominous part? Okay. Listen for the brass. Yeah. And then you hear the chromatics with the strings. Do you hear it? It's like, it's way up there. They might have even been doing some tremolo. Very ominous, very scary, and so appropriate and not overdone. Let's hear a little bit more. Okay, the solo. Yeah, the violins joined in for just a little bit. Just like one little portion of it. Look at them go. Yeah. And there's that little brass thing, but it doesn't go much longer than that. It can't. Yum, bum, 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 bum. Any more than that, it's going to be too much. Okay. Maybe I can catch that one moment now. I think it was in the duet, like towards the end of the duet, where I caught one of the symphony musicians doing something that we all do. So in most classical orchestra, symphony orchestra concerts, one of the pieces in the program involves a soloist, like a concerto of some kind. And, where just one person is playing with the whole orchestra as their accompaniment. And when that happens, we, the musicians on stage, the symphony musicians, have to really focus on our own parts. And yes, we're listening to the amazing soloists. They have to be pretty good to be invited to play with the orchestra. We're listening and we're admiring, but we also have to concentrate. And so every once in a while, usually in the cadenza, which is towards the end of a solo piece, of a concerto like that, where the soloist, like everybody else kind of shuts up and the soloist gets to be in the spotlight and just play their hearts out, with a little solo moment. And we all sort of get to sit back and admire. And we don't want to get pulled into it too far, because then we lose our places. And, either we have to be counting or we have to be just like ready to get back into the accompaniment when it comes back in. But it's just fun to sort of sit back and admire the soloist doing their thing. And sometimes we even smile. Yes, the classical symphony musicians will even smile on stage and sort of in approval. And it's almost like breaking character. We have to be so focused and everything, but every once in a while we'll allow ourselves to do that. And so I just caught a string player, might have been a violist here, sitting on the end, on the first desk of the viola section, who I don't know, I saw him do that. He's a younger guy. Maybe he's also a Metallica fan. You never know. And I wanted to point that out because I just noticed that he kind of broke the symphony character. If you notice, the rest of them don't completely do that. And it is because they have to be focused. They have to do their job. Let's see if I can find that. Okay. That's the one right there. You see that look on that? Yeah, right there. Yeah, I know that look. It's this. Amazing solo. This is so much fun. What an honor to be on stage with this person. Yeah, that was really great. And this whole thing was really great. Wow. Okay, that was Master of Puppets with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra with Michael Kamen directing. And I'll stand by my technical description words of it was great and it was fun. Because it was. Sometimes the simple words are the only ones you can use because you're just kind of swept away in the moment. And I certainly was. So what do I think of the balance? Overall, yeah, it was well balanced. And this is a tricky song to get it right with the orchestra. So Michael Kamen did a fantastic job. And then the band, of course, you can tell Hetfield knows how to work an audience. He lets them sing some of the words. And then he interjects some things in there that are not on the original recording. And you can tell he's making those decisions for himself, that he wants to do that. He wants to portray that. So there was that one spot where he just spoke the words. And then how he's having to make up the laughter at the end. That takes a good performer to pull all that off and not have it be awkward. So, of course, they are masters at this. And I really do believe that they were having so much fun. But I do wish I could get my hands on one of the violin parts just to see what it was like the first violin part, to see what it was like to play along with all of that. All right, so we do have another Metallica here with this on the channel, but we do need some more. So I will be referring back to the poll that was on Patreon and for channel members. It's time to get some more Metallica on the channel. I need to hear some of their early works, like the original audio recordings. So be sure to do all things, like and subscribe. You can find me on Patreon, become a channel member, take part in the polls to help decide what I react to on the channel. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay and keep listening.